Dr. Jim Walsh. I'm a senior research associate at the MIT Security Studies program. It's an agreement that advances the national security interests of not only the United States and of Iran, but really it's an international agreement, right? The UN has signed on to this. It was negotiated by the so-called P5+1. So it's really advances the regional nuclear interests. I mean, no country in the region would benefit from an unconstrained Iranian nuclear program. And I think it helps Iran achieve its economic goals and feel more secure and have hopefully have a better relationship with the U.S. So I think everyone comes out winners. There continues to be concern about Iran's behavior in human rights, whether it's ethnic bigotry or religious freedoms. There's concern about Iran's alliance with Syria. Personally, I believe Mr. Assad is a war criminal and has carried out great abuses against his own population. So, and so there's concern about that, and I know there'll be debates in Congress about imposing new policies. I guess I would hasten to add, though, that when we have a problem, what we should do first is think about what policy tool is most likely to achieve success. Sometimes we just reach for sanctions because sanctions are there and they're easy, and it's sort of become this giant habit that everything is about sanctions. But as a scholar, my own sense of it is that the scientific research, the scholarly research, doesn't show that sanctions are particularly effective with human rights abuses. So let's look at sanctions, but let's not be unthinking about it. Let's think about a wide array of policies that we might use. Maybe it's shaming, naming and shaming, or other sorts of things that we might use to improve human rights. The fundamental question is, if we think human rights is an issue, then the first question should be, what tactics are going to be the most successful at the least cost being, other problems. And so I think definitely there'll be an interest in that, but I hope that's the approach people take, is to say, what's the most effective tool we have to accomplish our objectives? And I don't have a good answer. My specialty is really nuclear and international security more broadly. But I know that there is research in this area. And so rather than starting with the action first, I'd start with the objective and say, what does science, what does research tell us about what's effective and under what conditions is it effective, and try to take those tools that seem to match the Iranian case the best. The Iranians are, and here let me just speculate, the Iranians are very proud people. They actually do not want to be seen in the public eye as being abusers of human rights. So it might be the sort of thing where it's investigations and UN revealing problems, and stuff in the media that would move them, as opposed to sometimes you go after an Iranian directly and their natural inclination is to push back. Whereas if you embarrass them about human rights, maybe that is a better way. I don't know, but what my advice would be is look at what the research says, look at what the NGO community is doing in terms of its research as well, and then try to fashion a policy that no one wants human rights abuses. The question is, how do you gain success? And that's what they should focus on.